So the following video was actually requested down in the comment section, and it's something I have thought about for many, many years, as most of my jobs have not offered benefits, any sort of job security, and they were hourly. And when I got fired, it was just don't come back anymore. It was just one morning you show up at work and they're like, well, sorry, you don't work here anymore. So your job doesn't want you to be full time. And it's not one place that I've worked at, it's every place that I've worked at. I think one of the worst ones had to be Walmart, where they intentionally kept you at 31 hours so that you wouldn't qualify for benefits. And the general manager would say, we don't pay for benefits here. Everyone is part time. And I ran into the same thing with the hiring manager at Kroger's, where they said, why would we hire two people? Why would we hire one person for 40 hours when we can hire two people with 20 hours and we don't have to pay them benefits and we will never increase their pay? That's really what it comes down to, is the more entry level the job is, because let's face it, part-time means entry level to some extent if you're stuck in that $15 to $20 bracket. So I thought about this a lot, and I didn't realize how much of my life was just spent thinking that things were going to get better. In fact, Mello and I were talking about this, how when we were young, we only worked to have fun. And as you get older and older, between your 20s and 30s are the time in your life when you're supposed to be building your skill set so that you're more comfortable in your 30s and 40s. But what happens when you're always part time and entry level work? You get to your 30s and 40s and you're still working at McDonald's because no one will hire you and no one will invest any sort of time or money. Let's say you went to a university like I did for many, many years and you worked there for a long time and you never gained much from it. Everything I currently do at my job, I gained through teaching myself or by just doing it. That's really what it comes down to, is sometimes you never get the opportunity to get your hands dirty because you're always part-time and you're always entry level. They don't let entry level do anything that is even remotely complicated because they know that as an entry level person, your investment in the corporation is low as the corporation's investment in you. There's a good chance that a person is not going to come back the next day to an entry level position or even stay the entire day. It's something that the president of my current department doesn't understand every time I get a new Gen Z, is that their investment is low. My current Gen Z is looking for another job. He saw the way that this company treated people. He's seen dozens and dozens of terminations, and he knows that this isn't a good place to work. And I asked him, it's like, is it the way that I told you that this job functioned? He's like, no, it's just dealing with the constant terminations and replacements with people at much lower wages. So today, in the main body of this video, we're going to be talking about cost savings over employee investment, avoiding overtime, the rise of the 1099 contractor, the disposable workforce, and empowering workers to take control, which is a lot of BS, people. Lots of BS in here. All right, let's get started with our first talking point. Companies avoid hiring full-time workers because they want to save on the additional costs that come with the benefits like healthcare, retirement plans, and paid time off. So when I first started working at Insight, they made such a big deal about the healthcare, retirement plans, and paid time off. Most of the workers that worked there at that call center never made it that far. In fact, the turnover was so high, you could see people leaving that call center in real time. Your healthcare benefits were trash. And the number one reason why healthcare benefits are trash in this country is because you can't use them. You don't have the time to take off from work in order to go see a doctor because they're so understaffed that they need you there every single day. And if you're working in retail, people, 5 to 10 people not showing up in one retail store isn't uncommon because, again, these people have no long-term investment in their employment, and often they are looking for another job simultaneously because their current job is not designed to keep you alive. Remember, these jobs, these entry level jobs, are secondary incomes because they don't pay enough for a primary lifestyle. When you are a primary lifestyle, when you're comfortable, you're making over $100,000 a year. But ask yourself, when was the last time you had the opportunity to apply to a job that paid six digits? You don't. Those jobs aren't for you because you don't have the connections, you don't have the family, and you don't have the network in order to be able to touch those jobs, therefore isolating you in those very low paid hourly jobs. Talking point number two: companies prefer to hire additional part timers to avoid the higher costs associated with overtime pay. So, about 3 months ago, the president of my company came to me and he said, no overtime. And I'm like, well, if there's not going to be any overtime, that's going to make it really hard for me to come in on the weekends and come in at night in order to take care of things. I've been on the clock all day today because I had to go check out the convention center that I'm going to be at on Monday. I had to make certain that certain orders were taken care of this morning, and I'm currently waiting to get the green light to go pick up those that equipment that I ordered because my area is not suitable to ship equipment to, and the equipment that I had shipped to my office obviously came and the office was closed. So I looked at my corporate Amazon account, my business account today, and I saw all of my deliveries. Amazon driver showed up, looked at the sign on the building, and took off. And so now I'm stuck. Luckily, everything that I needed, that I thought I needed, was already at the convention center. And so that is good, but I still want to have a backup because they made such a big deal from the main corporate office that I needed to have certain things ready for the conference. So if you're wondering what I was doing there, I worked there. So moving on to our next talking point. Did I really cover this one? I don't really have much to say on this talking point, but I do have a lot to say on this one. 1099 contractor roles which shift the burden of taxes, healthcare, and job security onto the workers. So, as I mentioned earlier, health benefits are very, very expensive. And if you're on a 1099 contract, you are an independent contractor, which means it comes with no paid holidays, no paid vacation, no paid health benefits. And believe me, you thought job security working in retail was bad? 1099s are the worst. Anytime that I see a job that's 1099 and I see it repeatedly open, in fact, state jobs here in Arizona are often listed as 1099 jobs and they stay open for months because as a 1099 contractor at $25 an hour, having to pay for all of those things by yourself is going to consume more than, I would say, half of your monthly income because it is just so expensive. Healthcare can run into the thousands of dollars every month. If you have a family, there is no way that you can work as a 1099 contractor unless they're paying you a beep, beep, beep of money. But for the most part, regular people, they can't. Also, what comes along with contract work is whether or not they're going to have anything else for you. Because I was working for a company called Labor Nation. It was a contractor that would pay you, would send you on daily jobs to any place in Arizona on that morning. They start calling you early in the morning. It's like, can you be there by a certain time? We need you to set up this, or we need you to do that on a server. But it wasn't every day. The money was good when you got the work. Sometimes I'd make $300 a day, but maybe you only worked 1 day a week. You don't know. Sometimes there was more work to do than you had time. Sometimes these contracts would be at night. Sometimes they would be on the weekend. Sometimes they would be emergency contracts where something goes down and they just don't hire people. Our company got rid of janitors like years ago. And now, when anything goes wrong that needs a cleaning service, the employees have become the janitors. I've seen people unclogging the toilet at work when it was the last thing in their job description. But as they say, additional duties as required. That's what my entire job is additional duties as required. I mean, I'm a field technician, I'm a printer tech, I'm a uh, I would call myself an office psychologist for people that are having a meltdown at their PC. It's not just about dealing with the technology, because that's what I would rather do. I'd rather eliminate the human component from technology. Unfortunately, they're intertwined. And sometimes people, when they can't do their work, it causes them to have a public freak out. I had a public freak out Monday morning. This lady comes back. She doesn't remember her password. She doesn't know where she is. She can't get into her email. She can't answer anything. She's on a meeting on her cell phone because that's the only place that she can get into the meeting. And she is just a person that is technology handicapped. And every time I run into a person that just truly has no technical skills, when you work in an online job, you wonder who hired this person? Why are they still here? And how is this person's life any different outside of work? Because these people have other technology that they use outside of their work computer. In fact, yesterday I logged into one of the sales machines remotely because I needed to update some of their stuff, and they had been neglected by the technology department. And that's, again, something that happens all of the time. It's like you submit a work order, and then you sit and you wait, and the wait becomes hours, it becomes days, it becomes weeks. And that's why people reach out to the technology psychologist, because they get to a breaking point, and they know if there's one person that they can reach out to, it's Millennial Stain. He's always there. He may be sitting in a corner. He may be laying on his side in the fetal position because he can't take it anymore because work is overbearing. But at the end of the day, you know he's there. He may not be all there, but he's there in spirit. And so when they reach out to you, you log into their computer and you look at it. Like, she was scrolling through her bookmarks looking to remember one of her passwords, because obviously people don't remember their passwords. Google remembers your password for you. And I was watching where she was going on her work computer. And this lady, again, salespeople, this lady was treating her work computer just like her home computer. For a lot of people, they can't make that distinction. There are baby pictures, there are selfies, there are family pictures, there are links to grocery stores, Amazon's, car insurance. Everything that they do in their life, they do on their work computer. And you wonder, it's like, oh my God, how are you doing this? I even censor my Google searches at work and use my personal phone in order to search the internet, because work is always looking to find a reason to fire you. In fact, when I worked at Republic, they would hire private contractors, 1099 people, and they bring them in for specific programming jobs. This was a long time ago. And the second that their productivity went down, because they paid these people a lot of money on contract, right? And they weren't producing, they weren't meeting their deadlines. They'd hop onto their work computer, because even though you were a contractor, you still got a work computer because you needed to be on the company network in order to access servers for testing things. And they would look and they're like, you know what? We can see right here where you spent this hour shopping on Amazon. We can see over here that you were looking at the news. Over here, you were sitting idle. They can see what you're doing. And when it comes to terminations, it's really, they don't even have to do this in Arizona. Arizona's a right to work state. You show up, they can tell you to get the beep out of here, and you're done. They don't have to give you a reason. That's why there are so many lawsuits in corporate America for wrongful termination, which they always win because they have the money. They're lawyered up to the nth degree to deal with disgruntled workers who want to say that the reason that they were fired was unjust. There's no such thing, people. The corporation can function without any of us. They treat us like a pig at a state fair, right? The pig's only good for so long. He wins the prize, and then they send you to the butcher, and that's it. That's the end. There is no job security in corporate America. Unless you're an executive and you have a contract that says if they fire you before your contract, they have to pay you through your contract. That's the only way that I've seen that you win in the short term, but long term, we're all losers. We've all got that great big L around our neck that works like an anchor to keep us tethered to the bottom of the poverty ocean and we can never come up for air. You're just down there holding your breath until it's over. And then suddenly open your eyes and you're in the pine box and you realize, oh my God, I worked for the minimum wage my whole life and I never once went on vacation. In fact, today I was sitting with Mello in a conference room and she was looking at the wallpaper on her computer and she's like, Millennial Steam, I'd like to go to this place that's on the screen. And I said, Mello, you and I are both poor. We will never go anywhere in our lives. And she just said to me, I will once I get my inheritance. And I thought, at least she has that hope. I don't. I don't have any family. I don't have any friends. I don't have a future. And that's really the way that I see life. When I see people who still have a glimmer of hope because they're hoping to come into money at some point, I figured most pros are really bad with money. If you need examples of this, just look at pros that have won the lottery in the past. And if they don't know how to use their money, they don't know how to invest their money, they don't know how to make their money work for them, and we don't learn these things, then you're going to go out and blow your money on things you couldn't afford anyway, even if you did win the lottery. Soon your mansion, your car, even your fake friends would all leave you, and you would return back to where you were at, where the amount of income that you can generate based on your aptitude puts you in society. If you're like me, you have low aptitude, you're living in the roach infested hotel here, and that's where you're going to stay. In fact, while I was in one of the executive offices earlier this week, I thought, you know what? This office is larger than my home. This office smells better than my home. This office looks better than my home. My home is a piece of crap. It is a cage with metaphorical bars on the front of it, but they're there. I can't leave. In fact, Mel and I were talking about my moving to somewhere else, and I just looked at her plain and simple. It's like I'm never going to get out of that roach infested studio apartment because I'm never going to make enough money. The only way I will ever move out of this studio apartment is if I meet someone. And meeting someone out there is just another way of hitting the golden ticket. It's about luck. I mean, every day, for my entire life, not just today or yesterday or the day before, my entire life I've been waiting to meet a second person so that I could start sharing my bills, sharing a home with them. But that's never going to happen. Just look at me. Look at my personality. Look at where I work. Look at my pro-mobile. Look at my income. Nothing about me is special in any conceivable way. I was born a loser. I will go out a loser. There are very few opportunities. The luck that I need is not coming. I know that for a fact. I gave up on the luck of getting out of this situation. And for most of the proletariat, I think that they've just come to terms with the fact that they're going to be poor. And I don't know what else to say other than luck doesn't always show up. Luck is like lightning. You see it striking, and people tell you all the time about people who've gotten rich by working hard, by that immense effort. And then you look at all the people that are currently working in retail. Do you think those people want to be there? Do you think anyone that wakes up in the morning and has to go to a job they absolutely, I wouldn't even say this, there's got to be a word for the way that work makes us feel when we have to spend 8 hours a day in a job in which makes us miserable. And that's another reason why I get so strange when people smile at you. When a stranger smiles at you, you kind of just like, what are you looking at? What's that face? Fix your face, proletariat. Fix your face. In fact, I was talking to one of the salespeople earlier this week, and she said whenever she would have to work at the office and her supervisor would see the look on her face while she was doing phone sales, he would say, you need to fix your face because the people that you're trying to sell to will know when this face looks like this. And then she just told me on the phone, it's like, Millennials team, I can't fix my face. This is what I look like. I can't contort my face into a phony smile half the day just because my boss has told me to fix my face. In fact, I heard that same thing from a supervisor when I worked at Insight. The customers can tell that you're frowning. And I'm like, so what? I'm the one stuck here in this dead end job, not them. So, since I'm not going to have a chance to reach my last two talking points, let's get into toxic positivity. So, the answer for most corporations is that you need to start a side hustle. We all know what side hustle means. We know what gig work is. We know what the corporation means by you need to have a side hustle. It means we understand that we're not paying you enough and that you need additional income. Unfortunately, that's not available here, so you're going to have to go drive flex for Amazon and figure it out. Having no days off, the corporation has no qualms with you working 7 days a week. In fact, I'm working right now. My computer's logged in. I'm waiting on a call so that I can go take care of some stuff. But right now, I can't leave. Right now, I'm just waiting to get that phone call and to rush over to pick up equipment and then come back here to Poorhouse, as I like to call it. And in about 2 hours, I will be drinking, hopefully, enough Pearl beer to knock me out to another world for 20 minutes so I don't have to think about going to work on Monday morning. That's where I'm going to leave the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember to leave a like, a comment, and remember, you know where that thumb goes. Put it in. It's a good time.